Welcome in Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we have a great show for you guys today. Going to be draft-centric here. I'll talk a little bit of... we're going to do a mock draft, right? So we'll get right into it. Before we actually get onto the mock draft, I think just a good question to start it off with, looking at quarterbacks, the landscape of a rookie quarterback or of a young quarterback in the league is so brutal right now, and as exciting as it is for the fans, it has to be tough for the kids, because look, we have 5 quarterbacks last year that came out in the first round last year with expectations. 6 second-year quarterbacks will be starting in 2023, realistically, including Davis Mills over for the Texans. Excuse me. Which quarterbacks do you think are relying the most on the draft right now? And what I mean by that is, which quarterbacks have the most to gain from their team killing the draft and putting them in the best situation to succeed?
So draft, and if we can we include free agency or no?
Well, I feel like free agency is already passed. So I'm
just saying as a whole, based on first year to second year team overall change, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are really putting all their eggs, in, as we knew they would, in the basket for Trevor Lawrence, trying to help him out. They really, really helped out that offensive line. I love the moves that they made at the offensive line position, and I'm assuming that they're going to keep doing that in the draft. I don't think they're going to do it 1.1. Mm-hmm. I think, you can't miss it with Hutch. I think that's the move to go. Don't overthink it. Just leave it be right there, and it's good to go. But later on, I haven't heard that there's a lot of top-heavy picks in this draft, but there's a lot of depth to this class. So hopefully they can bolster it up and go. I would also give a shout out to the Jets. I think they have a lot to prove. Yeah, no,
I absolutely agree. I was kind of thinking Jets more than anything, just because I do believe, like, if you made me pick one guy that I think is going to have the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2, I do think it's going to be Zach Wilson. I thought we saw a lot down the line, and really he's the guy where it's like, man, still haven't gotten him at really any weapons, could improve the offensive line, and I mean, just so many picks that they have to choose from. Yeah. Those 2 first picks, hopefully one of the picks in the top 10 goes to improving his life on the offensive side of the ball one way or the other. I think we both think wide receiver, if they get out of the top 10 without a wide receiver either at
I'll be
4 or 10, I would be very surprised, or at the very least trading for a wide receiver between now and draft day. It feels almost inevitable. It feels like Jets.
And you're right. Shocked is the wrong word, because there's a lot of places they could double up secondary, and I wouldn't be that surprised if they went Kyle Hamilton 4 and then got a corner at whatever the case may be at 10. So, but I don't know. I think they got to go wide receiver for sure.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the screen so I can record it, and it is not working for me right now. I want to record the draft simulator. So if you'll talk just for an extra second while I get this working.
You're good. I thought the Patriots would be making a move for a wide receiver, trying to help that out, because listen, they went right back to Bill Belichick ways of non-spending after 1 year of doing it. I think he got the roster to just good enough to where he liked it, and he said, now I'm going to go back to my thing that I've been doing for year after year. Got to target wide receiver, right?
I would think so. You have Devontae Parker, who I like, and I think is a great number 2.
They did do that,
and got him fairly cheap. Basically, you spent a third round pick next year, and got a 5th round pick and Devontae Parker this year. So certainly some value there. There's so much speed at the wide receiver position this year. I would think go get speed over anything. I don't think the big body go up and catch a guy is going to be the guy that they target. There's a couple of those great players.
I'll say this draft. I don't think they do it in the first round.
I don't think so either. Last time they went big body in the first round, that was a pretty big miss with N'Keal Harry, who might still be on the roster. I'm not 100% sure on that. Is he? But hey, with all that said and done, let's get right into it. Let's get into the draft. I'm going to put it on the screen here. We're going to be in the top left.
Let's alternate.
Let's alternate. You want first or second?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Come on. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I wasn't going.
Listen, I knew you were.
You know what? I wanted second anyway. So.
That's fine, because now I have to do the boring thing.
You got the easy one.
There's some talk that it's going to be Travon Walker out of Georgia. There's some buzz. I don't understand the smoke screens and all that stuff. I think Travon Walker can be a good pick. not as high on him as other people are whenever it comes to that. Number 1, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, gotta be. Everyone knows this dude. Obviously, he was in the conversation for a Heisman at the end of last year for a reason. Probably the best player in the class right now, and just a high floor, high character guy. And you know, there's feelings among some scouts that he could get bigger and stronger. Like he's 6'7", and he isn't really even done growing. Possibly, definitely a number 1 pick in the draft. The Lions at number 2. Definitely some conversations about Trevon Walker. I'm of the belief that Thibodeau is going to fall. Everything I'm seeing is that he's going to be gone. I don't think you take a safety at number 2, even though I do think he's in the conversation for one of the best players in this class. I'm not going to go quarterback here either, just because, man, I'm not sold that they're ready to go quarterback. I think you get a best player available situation here, and for me, I am going to go. Well, they already have a good offense line. I am going to go Trevon Walker here. I'm going to go one of the best players. I think, you know, the edge class is very deep, and you know, why not just get another Georgia guy early in the draft? They've hit on those type of guys
Campbell,
earlier.
Right, the coach.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I was blanking for a second. I think he'll love the motor.
Yeah, and not only that, they're coming from this. It's basically the Saints coaching staff, right? Like that's what we're looking at in Detroit right now. Well, what do they like? They like the big, strong, physical guys. I mean, you have Cameron Jordan over for the Saints right now, who's an absolute baller. You know, they traded up a couple years ago to get, I'm blanking on his name right now, but another bigger defensive Marcus. Thank you very much. So they like those bigger guys. That's what Trevon Walker is. He's a big physical guy who also, I mean, I think his 3-cone was comparable to wide receivers. Mm-hmm. So that's just absolutely ridiculous. I'll let you take over for the Texans here.
Number 3 gets a little wide open, if you will. You know, I do. There's some talks about quarterback. There's some talks about maybe just trying to get best player available. And for me, in my opinion, best player available is Kyle Hamilton, but he's at the safety position right now. And I don't know if you prioritize that this early. I think you can't go wrong by taking an offensive lineman. And in my opinion, the best one on the board, it might be different than most people's, but it's Ikem Ekwonu out of North Carolina State.
Fair enough.
I like him a lot. I think it's just the move. You can't go wrong with it. A lot of picks, a lot of stuff for the future. And David, to go against the quarterback thing, I think Davis Mills had a lot of good minutes last year. Mm-hmm. Nothing phenomenal, nothing spectacular, but you put most quarterbacks in that situation, especially with the rookie class that we saw last year, I think all of them are failing. He was able to survive or stay above water. Yeah, no, I mean he performed really well for what he was asked to do. I absolutely agree with that. Now we have the Jets at number 4, and again, look, we already mentioned, does a wide receiver go off the board this early? I don't think so. I like Garrett Wilson. He is not in the same stratosphere as Jamar Chase coming out last year, and this is the range where Jamar Chase came last year. And I know it's maybe not fair to compare apples to oranges in that kind of Now, what do we look at here? I almost want to go safety because I do think they need help here with the Jets at number 4. Man, they have Marcus May. But Marcus who's awesome. May plays free. He plays a lot of coverage, and Kyle Hamilton's more of that run support, strong safety type. I like it. I know the Jets fans are going to hate me because it's another safety top 5, and that worked out pretty well. Jamal Adams is awesome, but I obviously didn't work out to the way maybe some Jets fans like. I got to go best player available here. I think offensive line is on the board. I think edge is on the board. Even Jermaine Johnson, who I think would be a little rich. I think him and Thibodeau both in the conversation. I'm going to go my best player available and take Kyle Hamilton. Not bad. Yeah. I mean, I have no problems with it. I get both. I get both the Giants, and I think you might get both of the Jets because I'll be odd, and you're even. So we'll get to see how we rebuild those. That's fun. For the Giants, for me, you know, there's a few different ways that they're going to go, but in my head, knowing that I get both of these picks, I'm going to build it the way that I think that it should be built. You got to target. They're going to go secondary, and they're going to go offensive line. And I say right now, there's already going to be people talking about Evan Neal. He's right there. You got to go get him. Last time they targeted one of the SEC linemen in Andrew Thomas. A little shaky start, but it started working out. Mm-hmm. Evan Neal's the pick here. Yeah, I think take the lineman. I don't think you can get out of the top 10 for the Giants and not have at least one more offensive lineman on that roster. Absolute necessity. I 100% agree with that. And for the Panthers, this is who I think's going. I know Malik Willis is the number 1 on the screen right now as far as what PFF thinks. I know a lot of people have Malik Willis as number 1. The other guy that a lot of people are talking about as number 1 is Kenny Pickett. He is my number 1. I'm taking the guy I genuinely believe is going 6 overall. I genuinely believe Kenny Pickett will be the first quarterback taken in this class. I think if he doesn't go 6 to the Panthers, somebody else traded up to go get him. That's my personal opinion. I'm taking who I do believe has the maybe not the highest ceiling, but
certainly the highest floor of these guys, and a guy who I do believe can go in on day one and take that starting job from Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold can be a quality backup that he spent maybe too much on. But,
I feel you, man. It's wide open. It really is wide open when it comes to the quarterback position. There's buzz about the Detroit Lions being in love with a Matt Corral.
Yeah.
And he's below Malik and Pickett right there. So
I will say, and I bring him up every once in a while on the pod just because at this time of year he's so good. He's so unique at valuing quarterbacks. Matt Corral is Chris Sims' top quarterback, so I give that just his success rate alone makes me give that a little bit of credence, even though he's not my number one. And I don't think I've seen him at number one anywhere else.
There's NFL franchises out there that do the exact same. Now I know that they have their own scouts and they already have all of this stuff in but there could be a guy in the Lions, Texans, whatever organization saying, listen, you got to give another look to what's his name?
Matt Corral, Malik Willis, yeah.
And then it's like he it backs me. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Giants, I said offensive line, I said secondary. I am going with my number one overall defensive back. I think he is a stud. I think he can be a true number one in this league. Give me Sauce Gardner. Cincinnati.
Yes, sir. There's nothing more to say there. Didn't give up a touchdown all year. The Alabama in that game in the playoffs, they were scared to throw the football. Mm-hmm. They were able to run it down their throat, and they obviously controlled that game from beginning to end. But they were scared of the DBs. They were scared of Ahmad Gardner, especially.
All the fun teams.
I know. I do get a lot of the fun ones. All right, Falcons. There's no scenario where I go wide receiver. I think this very much is build up your team.
Where you go?
No, I'm not going wide receiver. I know I've seen the buzz that they might go. I don't care. This is a rebuilding team. This is not a good team.
Yeah, so I agree with that thought process.
You have a couple different options, right? You're right now, as of today, we have Marcus Mariota starting for the Falcons. Hey, maybe that works out, maybe it doesn't. I don't think it's going to. I think this is a rebuild. Rebuild I believe wholeheartedly you build through your line and you go backwards. I don't see an offensive lineman that I value as much as I do Thibodeau here, so I'm going to have Thibodeau go 8. Even though I do actually think he could fall. I could actually see a Jermaine Johnson going ahead of him just based on kind of where the climate has been with him and how he has been falling down boards. Mm-hmm. And to me, that means, okay, well, the actual decision makers in the NFL are starting to read this and starting to watch these guys, and they're saying, no, he is not a top 10 guy. But as of right now, I still do believe he's in that conversation of top 10, top 15. I'm going to take Thibodeau at number 8. Just add talent to your team. I think that's what the Falcons need to do. They are in full rebuild mode. Add the best player available, in my opinion, at number 8.
If the board falls like it does, I will get this pick in as fast as I think the Seattle Seahawks will get this pick in, and it's quarterback Malik Willis. Okay. I've heard a lot of stuff that they are in love with him. They like the X factor type that he can bring to that team, the way that he's able to maneuver a pocket, extend plays, gets a lot of things going. I think it's a slam dunk right here for them, taking him.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out last time.
The fact that they wouldn't have to jeopardize and trade up to go get it. Because I've heard that the Seahawks and Falcons are both monitoring what goes on with the Giants at 5 or the Jets at 4. Mm-hmm. They have, Jets and Giants both have 2 picks in the top 10, would be more than willing to move down and jump the Panthers if that's the case. You get the guy here, you don't have to trade up and let go of X amount of picks to do it.
Look, we said at the beginning of the show, Jets are going to take a wide receiver in the top 10. The board falls perfectly, and the way I think the board will fall, barring any trade ups, I don't think a wide receiver goes in the top 9. But at 10, I am going to take my number 1. I'm going to take Garrett Wilson. I think he's the best wide receiver in the class right now, and a great player to complement a Elijah Moore, to complement who I still have a little bit of hope that Denzel Mims can pick it up and at least be a quality rotational wide receiver in a lineup.
And Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is up there too. Yeah, so that just makes a wide receiver core that I think has been missing a huge piece. I think with what Garrett Wilson can be, you have a wide receiver core that could be great. That has the potential to be borderline elite with 2 young guys, a Corey Davis who is a solid number 2 and a Denzel Mims who, at number 4 on your roster may end up being a bust of a pick, but I still believe has like a sliver of hope.
I get that.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. He's not my number 1, but at the end of the day,
who's your number 1?
Drake London.
Drake London's
my number 1 wide receiver. I like him a lot.
I think Garrett Wilson fits what the 49ers style offense wants to do more than Drake London.
And I'll give you that. Wilson with the when it comes to his route running and what he can do after the catch, do really well. Because there's a certain thing when it comes to just I have a player may not match the system perfectly. And Drake London, for what he does, if he can get the right system, I promise you won't find a guy in the NFL like he can come in and make an immediate Mike Evans type of impact.
1,000% agree with that.
Depending on the way that you use season.
Yeah,
Same thing can be said for Garrett Wilson. Good pick there.
Yeah.
I get the Washington Commanders, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a
just Commander. I don't think I've ever heard it said like that. Just so confidently.
I had to.
Yeah, that's good.
I had to try to flow
ready
with it right there because you can't say it.
Yeah,
you can't say
it.
No. I think they're going to go Charles Cross here.
Okay.
Mississippi State. I'm hearing good things about him out of the offensive line position. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a boring pick there.
I don't like a small offensive lineman. I don't
think they're going to go. I think they're going to bump him interior after losing Brandon Sheriff.
Okay, that makes sense. Just me personally, again, like I don't hate that pick from a positional standpoint.
Yeah.
Love adding an offensive lineman to a Washington team. That does feel like they're a quarterback away.
Carson Wentz, they kind of put their not that they invested everything in him, but this year in itself, I think, is going to him.
But overall, look, you have a pretty good secondary, great defensive line. You have a very good wide receiver core, in my opinion. Very good run game. Offensive line needs help, but is not like the worst. Like this team on paper should be pretty good. It just depending on how can they put it all together. I do think offensive line is a great pick there. Charles Cross, a lot of people love. I'm just not as high on as a lot of people. And again, just a slim offensive lineman always scares me. But on paper, he is supposed to be very good.
The one that would be the surprise, the one that I actually value more, but I'm going off of where the evaluation is on Charles Cross being so high. I really like a Trevor Penning. I think he could be the type that comes out of a smaller school, but there's always one of those linemen. Reminds me of Titans got him in the second round. Dylan Radins, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. He was able to come in with some quality minutes in. But we'll get to him later. You get my team.
I do get your team, and I'm thinking about it here because this is tough. There's a lot of talk that they go corner here, right?
Yeah.
The Vikings go corner. I'm looking at the board, and I'm seeing one corner go off the board. Obviously, top 5, top 10, wherever he went, to number 7 to the Giants. And now I'm thinking, man, the Vikings have a second round pick. The Vikings might be okay with getting, whoever can fall out of this or maybe trade up.
McCreary wouldn't be horrible in the second round.
McCreary would not be horrible. Yeah, absolutely. And I think he goes first. I like the depth there, and I'm looking at a Jermaine Johnson here, who I do think there's a little bit of a tier gap between a Jermaine Johnson and the next edge rusher. I'm going to take, in my opinion, the best player off the board, and a position of need for the Vikings could definitely use a younger edge rusher there. And do you hate that pick?
Are you sure though? Because we just signed Za'Darius.
Yeah.
And we have Danielle Hunter intact.
Love Danielle. I mean, yeah, okay, not a huge position of need.
No. I'm not saying. Trust me, you always need.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing that we like to do is get to the quarterback when it comes to that, and having that elite up front with knowing you have depth at corner. Mm-hmm. In a way, you're not taking a cornerback. I don't want people to interpret what I'm saying. But investing in the defensive line up front can also help a bad secondary. Yeah. A lot.
Oh,
and knowing that you're able to take a pick later on too.
I definitely agree with that. I am going to go Jermaine Johnson. To me, Jermaine Johnson is a borderline top 10 player in this class. Obviously falls out of it just because the way our board fell. I know you like Derek Stingley there. I know that broke your heart a little bit because you would rather have Derek Stingley. My issue, and I'm going to wait for Stingley to get drafted when I talk about him. And again, there's a handful of what feels like elite players left before we go down a tier overall in this class. I wanted to take my favorite player and give it to a Vikings team that I think there's nothing wrong with adding talent at the defensive line position.
No, nothing wrong with that. I'm fine with it, and our GM is in love with Florida State. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have some of the highest Florida State ratio of players out there. So
love me some Florida State.
Loves the Florida State. I get the Texans' second pick. This one scares me.
Yeah.
Because they need so much, and I feel like they need so much more than a Jordan Davis here, because I feel like one of their few picks that they got right was the interior defensive lineman. I'm blanking on the name, out of Texas A&M last year, and I mean, I don't know if they need that. I don't know if you build your defensive line from in to out. I think if it would have gone, like, the Texans are probably pissed off right now because they were looking for a Jermaine Johnson type, that edge, because you don't want to have to reach and take the guy right there. Mm-hmm. I don't think they need a luxury secondary pick. I'm actually going to probably go with Derek Stingley.
Derek Stingley, okay.
Am I missing something when it comes to the secondary right there? I mean,
I don't think so. I think, again,
trust me, I don't think you take. I view corner as a luxury pick for defense.
I don't even view it that way. I think the second corner is it's a passing league. It's a very important part. My thing with Derek Stingley to the Texans, I'm gonna lock it in here for you. My only thing there, as far as the Derek Stingley is a projection at this point. because there's no arguing
he crushed his pro day.
He crushed. Of course, he crushed his pro. He's a physical freak. Physically, he is absolutely impressive. We've seen a lot of guys who are top of the line athletics that doesn't translate. It translated year one, freshman year for LSU. Then we have 2 years of film that do not back up what he did or starting what he was coming out, and obviously that freshman year.
He wasn't the number one freshman year.
He wasn't.
Fulton was.
From a physical standpoint, there's no reason he shouldn't be a top 5 pick. From a physically gifted standpoint, I 100, and I want to say that before I say if you go back and look at this past year's film before he gets hurt and finishes out his college career, or the COVID year, there was some serious concern. I think across the board, if you go find scouts, they'll say the same thing. Again, an incredible upside, but if you're the Texans, I would want a high floor guy as opposed to a high ceiling guy. And to me, Derek Stingley is more of a high ceiling guy. That's just how I see Stingley. That's why I passed on Stingley for Jermaine Johnson for the Texans. He's a top 15 pick. He's a great player, and a team is going to take a chance on him. He wasn't going to fall much farther, I think, in real life or in our mock. But I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. With the Ravens coming in at 14, that's a tough one. Where do you go if you're the Ravens?
They always go defense.
Let's look at the best. Jordan Davis is obviously awesome. George
would be a monster there.
Yeah.
What happened with Calais Campbell? Were they able to retain him?
No, I don't. I think he stuck around for another year. I don't know if he went to. I'm not gonna let Calais Campbell factor into my decision making anyway. They have good corners. I love Andrew Booth Jr. I think it's kind of a crime that he's still on the board. I do think they have him ranked at 22. I think he's a top 15 pick in my opinion.
I see the guy that I think that they would get because based off of the way that Ravens pick primarily. But I don't know if you're looking at him.
Oh, who? I'm thinking George Karlaftis.
Karlaftis isn't bad. But I feel like the Ravens always have a unique strategy in the way that they pick. That's not fair to assume that I just know the guy, but based on style of play, Nakobe Dean.
Okay. I like Nakobe Dean too. A little rich for me for Jordan.
Definitely rich.
I'm gonna add a guy who I think can play all across the line. Big, strong, physical dude who can play in that Ravens D line scheme where they do a lot of different things up front. And I think George Kalifkas can do a lot of different things. Is he like the most physically freaky, athletic, crazy athlete? No, he's not. He's not in the same range as I think the other handful of edges that we've drafted so far. But I think he fits the mold of what Baltimore would like to do. Can do a lot of different things. He can be that Matt Judon type. I do believe that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Karlaftis there. And I think they could be really happy with that pick.
So Philadelphia desperately need a wide receiver.
There's one on the board.
There is one on the board, and I like the fit of a Jameson Williams more than Drake London is my number one. Do not get that mixed at all. Jameson Williams is a better fit for a Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith adding into that realm.
Nothing wrong with that in an Alabama core, man. Another Alabama wide receiver in the first. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It does play, too. Listen, we try to deny that doesn't go into it. I feel like nowadays, with social media being a thing, with player relations being a thing, with teammate chemistry, it's huge. Yeah. Jameson Williams is a guy to get. I see them getting his twitchiness up front. Yeah. Yards after the catch. It works.
I absolutely agree, man. I think Jameson Williams should be the pick there. Now we have a weird one with the Saints.
Disrespectful to Drake London though, because he is.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I'm gonna do what I did with. I do not get the trade the Saints made. I still don't get it. I don't think we really talked about on this show, but this was originally the Eagles pick here, and they gave it to the Saints in return for the 18th. I think I don't know exactly how this trade worked out. Maybe this was their original pick.
I have a theory.
Either way, they have 2 first-round picks instead of 1, but they gave up a lot to get this first-round pick. What's your theory?
Trade up capital.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
I think it's quarterback. Yeah. If they have a guy that's like right there, if there's a deal that they can get, they'll send both straight up and go get. I don't know who, don't know what, don't know where, but that's the only thing that makes sense.
I have a lot of different ways I want to go with this because I really do think you could go a lot of different ways. They need another safety. Is Daxton Hill in the conversation? I don't think so in this range. You could obviously go wide receiver. They would love a Chris Olave down there. They love precise route runners, so I could see that working out pretty well. You could definitely go quarterback. Do you want to get a young Matt Corral who I do think could use a year? And hey, he can fight Jameis Winston for the starting job, or he can sit behind him for a year. Either way, that might not be the worst situation. Offensive line definitely on the board. Oh, they lost their OT. They lost their tackle. I think that's where I'm going to go with it, because their tackle is now sitting there for the Dolphins. I'm trying to see if I like any of these other guys more. I think Trevor Penning. I'm not going to pretend to know the offensive line super deep. I know that like the top 5-6 guys. So Trevor Penning, he's the next guy. I'm more going position there with Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa.
That's okay. That's good. That brings me to the Chargers. I feel like they would do the same thing with all the studs that are out there in LA right now. They're going to go up there and they're going to get the thing that they always want, interior D-line, and they get a damn good one in Jordan Davis.
Oh, yeah. He fell. Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Davis is a great one.
And it's a fall, though, that I think is almost necessary. You don't see the interior guys like that. Derek Brown a few years ago, in all of his greatness that he went very early for what it's considered for that type of lineman to go. Yeah. I think Jordan Davis goes right where you can't. It's not miss right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Eagles go back, and there's a glaring one to me. To me, Andrew Booth Jr. I'll go so far to say is I view Andrew, and this is how I view. I know you view things differently. I view Andrew Booth Jr. in this same kind of conversation. I actually have him higher than Derek Stingley. I have him in that top 10 conversation for me. Now, the rest of the world disagrees. I really haven't seen any, but I've seen it a little bit here and there of people that really like him. He's clearly a first-round pick. He's a top 20 guy for sure. I think this is near the end of his floor as far as where he could fall, in my opinion. But I'm going to take him. I think it's a huge value here for the Eagles, who need help on the secondary. Andrew Booth Jr., corner out of Clemson, who I think has a chance. I know he's not going to be. I won't even say that. I was going to say has a chance to be top corner. He's probably not going ahead of Sauce Gardner.
I don't think he's good. No, he's not going to. Yeah. But I think he'd be a good corner at that, though. Yeah. 19, I'm going to piss you off, man. It's going to suck. Desmond Ridder.
Oh, I don't hate that.
Oh, okay.
Well, why would you? I mean,
I didn't know if you would. Not that it would piss you off.
Oh, I'm mad, dude.
Yeah, no, the fact that he's going above where some people have him. I do think that Desmond Ridder will be a fit in. It comes in right here at 19, but if you will, a 20 to 32 at 19 in this case to 32 quarterback. He gets a chance to sit. He gets to sit behind Jameis for 1 year. He's a project. He's rough around the edges, but at a team that has, in recent history, historically great. I say recent history because before that, we all know what the ain'ts were. But Desmond Ridder could sit behind, get to see something, and step up with some good weapons around him.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I don't hate that at all. I really don't. You know what? There's a guy who I love who I haven't seen on the board. I'm curious where DeMarvin Leal. He has fallen down draft boards. I really liked him. I guess he's not valued in the same range as I thought he would be. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I want to go with the Steelers.
I also think they do that because the Steelers are right behind them.
Yeah, look, I don't hate that. I don't think I view him top 20. I don't. I do think he has incredible upside. I think there's potential there. Yeah, I don't. Again, I think it's a wait and see guy.
Checked in other areas too. Yeah. They could do the offensive line pick because they just lost Armstead.
And you already
addressed.
And you already said that you think they're trading up to get a guy. So maybe this is in our weird way a way to give them the guy that they're ultimately, or give them a guy or a position that they're ultimately going to target. Steelers here. I'm very tempted to go Matt Corral, quarterback out of Mississippi, who I do think goes in the first. I think there's going to ultimately be 4 quarterbacks go in the first, with one probably a late first. And I mean, is it the Steelers here at 20? I'm struggling with that. I'm going to...
That's hard.
That is hard. Just because, I mean, they have so many different guys there. They have Trubisky.
Offensive line's a move, too.
Offensive line is a move. Do they want to go Zion Johnson, who's the highest rated guard on this board, who I'm just going to kind of follow the board there with? Actually, no, I like Kenyon Green a lot more. I know I like him. He's a guy that I love. Sorry, this is dead air, and I'm just trying to decide what I want to do.
That's a tough pick.
I'm going to go offensive line. I am. I think they have the very real possibility that they can get a Baker Mayfield, who I think would probably day one be better than Matt Corral, or a better, all-around option. I like Baker Mayfield a whole lot. Then obviously you have Trubisky there. You have I'm not even going to mention Mason Rudolph, but you have enough quarterbacks to where you don't have to draft a quarterback at 20 overall in a class where this is supposed to be a down year for quarterback class. It just feels like a wasted first round pick and a guy who's like, there's going to be a lot of potential. A lot of people are going to be excited about him, but ultimately probably a bust. Like just when a guy falls this far at the quarterback position, it doesn't usually hit. So that's kind of why I went offensive line there, and I took my favorite offensive lineman.
Yeah. And you're right about the quarterback falling because it's one of those things where if a team loved him enough, they're making an aggressive move.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age. I feel like, and it sucks to always go back to it, but the Patrick Mahomes draft class, that sets a precedent from there where you see aggressive trade-ups, even if they're wrong. You see a team go get their guy, and they're saying, hey, we like him enough to where we're not going to let a team, jump in front of us and get him. I have the Patriots pick here. I feel like it fits Belichick's scheme. I like Devin Lloyd out of Utah.
I like that too.
Interchangeable pick at linebacker right there. They can utilize him in a way that I think Belichick loves to do.
I'm not thinking about it here with the Green Bay Packers. It's Drake London, best wide receiver available, right? Some people are going to say Burks. Some people are going to say Chris Olave. I'm going to take
a scary fit.
Yeah, I'm going to take. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Chris Olave, the route runner, I would like a little bit more than the go up and catch it guy, but. I don't know.
London can't fall. We owe it to him. He is more than that.
I do.
I think London go up and get it guy, but he can do more than that.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. You like London a lot more than I do. I view London in this range. I do. I don't.
I think London,
I don't value
London
him in the
goes
top
10 to the Jets, in my opinion.
Okay. So yeah, I don't value him top 15. I don't. I wouldn't. I can't imagine drafting him top 15. So that's where we're different. And that's good. Well, you want to have a little bit of difference there. But Drake London, love him as a player. Definitely a first round pick. And this is my range here for him.
I'm going to look at positional need here, and I want edge for the Cardinals. They lost to Chandler Jones. I think that's huge for them.
I think there's still some good players on the board that are out of edge. I mean,
I think it would be Ajabo.
Ajabo's a good player.
It'd be Rich. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he's kind of started trending downward just a little bit, just because of the Aiden Hutchinson. He got to play off of him. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about the guy out of Penn State right now.
I think he's another he's another traits guy. He's got all the traits. I know Nick Bonito's a guy I like who I've seen.
Good.
And he's a back into the first.
South Carolina guy's good too. I know about him.
There's a handful of guys here. I'm trying to find the other guy who I've seen called a top 5 pick. Yeah, I'll give you Ajabo here. He's a good player. Going to the Cowboys, I think this is a situation where they're not used to being in, where there is a clear need on this team, and it's at the offensive line position. I'm going to take. I don't know. It's kind of a drop off here at OT, offensive tackle. So I'm going to go Zion Johnson, guard here, who's at least graded on this mock draft as a top 20. And I don't know the offensive line this deep to where I'm not going to pretend to pick out my guy. I've already gotten all the guys that I've watched. So Zion Johnson here. I think they go offensive line. I think position is right, regardless of Lindenbaum. I really like. I do like him. He'll be there. I just wasn't looking. It's divided out weird.
But
But at the end of the day, you take a guy. They already lost Connor. They lost the LSU kid who went over to the Joe Burrow's team. So they definitely need to add help on the offensive line. It's an aging offensive line as it is.
I get Buffalo, and I get a board that is falling great for them, and I think it's one of those things. So Olave being here is tempting, but
I would go with it.
That's where I would go. I really think it'd be Chris Olave. I'm going to do. Oh man, I'm torn between the running back though, because they made moves to address.
I love the running backs idea.
I think it could be the sexy pick here, and for me, it's Breece. It's Hall.
Okay.
I think his skill. I like Kenneth Walker more.
Yeah. Well, you want to have that conversation?
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Skill set wise, though, I think Iowa State fits better.
I do agree with that. I think Kenneth Walker overall better running back. They're both the top two guys for sure. I like Isaiah Spiller a lot too, but he just doesn't have that explosion.
He'll be a feisty third round pick.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that explosion after making a guy miss that you kind of need. And I just always fall in love with guys like that, and they always go a little bit later than I expect. So I'm trying to adjust a little bit on that one. But Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, I think you're taking Breece Hall here for the Bills. Is that definite? Because and this is my argument. I know we've talked about it off air. I really believe a running back goes in the first because I really believe the Bills take a running back at 25. And the reason for that is I think they're not another offensive player away from being a Super Bowl team. And if they can just run the ball, they can win just a couple games by playing on the ground instead of through the air. Because, of course, their bread and butter is always going to be Josh Allen and getting it to Diggs, getting it to Davis. And they do have a pretty good wide receiver core as it is. But, man, they are a running, in my opinion, one great centerpiece of a running back.
Gabe Davis, and they just paid Stephon and made him the guy.
They tried to get the dude from Washington over. They had a verbal agreement, and he backed out. I just think I feel like the Bills, they have a good defense line. They went defensive line twice last year, so they have a lot of young guys you can believe in. They have a pretty good secondary, although I would argue that cornerback is going to be tempting in this range. There's a handful of good cornerbacks still on the board here that I would look at. But man, I agree with you. I know I'm defending your pick, but still, I really like that pick. I think that's a good one. Going to the Titans here at 26, they went cornerback last year. I'm going cornerback again. I'm taking my what?
If Olave's there, it's a wrap.
I think they have two good wide receivers. They have
ACL boy.
They have ACL boy who definitely scares me, but I mean he's in AJ. Yeah, so okay. I agree. Wide receiver is definitely an option here, but man, I love Chris Olave. I do think he deserves to go in this range. Great route runner. But no, I think they need another corner. I really do. I think they need another corner, and there's a guy who I love in a where is he? Oh goodness. I love Roger McCreary. Roger McCreary to me is a first round corner. I'm gonna go that way with it just because I believe in his skill set. I also love Trent McDuffie. He's a guy who I would think actually.
I'm not as high on Kyer Elam as a lot of people.
I'm higher on him than you are.
He's a good man-to-man corner.
Yeah, I have Trent McDuffie and Roger McCreary ahead of him. I'm going to go Trent McDuffie because I think Trent McDuffie can do more across the board. Roger McCreary is kind of just a outside corner. McDuffie can go inside, outside, anywhere on the defense pretty much, I feel like. So I'm going to go there just based on positional value and where they would use him versus a Roger McCreary, who I do have ranked a little bit higher.
Wow.
Now I think it's set up perfectly here for the Bucks
to get Chris Olave in.
Yeah, I mean you lost. I guess you wouldn't have to.
They didn't lose anybody.
Well, Antonio Brown, obviously.
Yeah, and injuries quickly derailed their season last year when they lost their 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
They were just scraping the pan trying to get by with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it would be Olave or
if he doesn't
Treylon Burks.
If he doesn't go 27, he's going 28. I have no problem doubling up at wide receiver there for the Green Bay Packers. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if they went that range. They don't. I mean, where do they really need help at?
They have a guy penciled in almost everywhere. I mean, I could see a Nakobe Dean pick just trying to get flashy with it on the defensive side.
There's no tight end to grab.
But, we're all well aware that they are fully invested in Brady right now and trying to make that happen.
They have offensive line.
I see no problem with them going to get him a weapon.
Yeah, let's do. You want to do that? Okay, Chris Olave goes there. Green Bay. Let me look at it because we already got one wide receiver. I don't have a problem with double dipping, taking Burks and London in the first. I have absolutely no problem with that. I honestly probably will go that way, but I want to look at corner. Not corner. I want to look at linebacker and edge. Is there anybody here? Because they did lose some pieces on that defense. They certainly did. That I can definitely look at and say, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think? Nakobe Dean's still there at 29. They could use a linebacker. I think they go
Nakobe Dean, or I think that they would go best edge available
to
replace Smith. But Nakobe Dean can also put hand in the dirt.
I'm going to go Nakobe Dean with that mindset that they need to replace Zadarius, but they need to add some young guys on that D-line. Again, if they went double wide receiver, it would not bother me at all. All right, I'll let you go with we both get one. Treylon Burks. You think Burks is their cup of tea there?
Put the wide receivers on the board. I want to.
I'm just basing on what they do because they obviously have a speed guy from the kid from Georgia a couple years ago, Hardman. I do have Burks. Man, I think Christian Watson, he's been flying up the board. I think he fits what the Chiefs would want to do more.
I think you swayed. No, you swayed me on the fact that Christian Watson is the DK Metcalf of this class.
Yeah.
Physical freak, the attributes. This guy is he's 6'5"
ran a 4.44,
and he is blazing.
Yeah. You
hear the rumors about the Chiefs trying to be aggressive in pursuit of DK when you can get your own version of that. Let's go for it.
All right, Christian Watson, go there to the Chiefs. That feels like a Chiefs move too. It really does. And to me, Burks is the guy who, if anybody falls, it'll be him of like the top 5. Now you giving me a pick here with the Chiefs. Not going to double dip at wide receiver.
No,
I don't think they're not in that. They already drafted a great center, so we don't need Lindrum. Even though I'm never against adding another offensive lineman. Nobody on the board that I like. I almost want to go running back just to replace. I know. I'm just thinking about it. They're not
going to go safety because they have they paid what's his face.
I'm going to go. probably one of my favorite. Again, I know I've already mentioned it, but Roger McCreary's still on the board. And in my opinion, they could use corner. I believe they lost their second corner. I can't remember his name. I believe he moved on. But so I'm going to go Roger McCreary. I do think there's going to be a run of corners late. I think there's a handful of guys that could be interchanged in this conversation here. But Roger McCreary's my guy, so I'll take him there at 30.
Bengals are taking Linderbaum.
Yeah, agree with that.
It's set up. They made all the other moves on their offensive line to set themselves up, except for replacing the center. And it was serviceable, but getting him right there, whew, they're good.
And you know where I'm going to go with the 32nd pick overall? I'm going to take Matt Corral. This is, I think, four quarterbacks go. Matt Corral is the guy. Let's look at full results real quick just to kind of go through what we did here. Top 6 here. Kenny Pickett going to the Panthers. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Anything
surprise
you want to mention here?
I feel like that is a very well scripted.
Very
top
realistic.
10 for sure.
Yeah. I think it gets a little bit weird with Thibodeau going 8 feels
I don't
feels
think
possible.
any of that feels crazy. Scroll down just a little bit.
Malik Willis going to the Seahawks feels a little bit like I don't think I value him there. That's just my personal opinion. I don't hate on him. I don't value him.
I think it's very likely that he's the first quarterback taken here.
Yeah, and again, that's one thing where I mean, you and I, you know, because we talked about it off air. I'm just different on that. I think
after Stingley is where we're going to see some draft fun.
Yeah, because
after Stingley, stuff gets a little different.
I think you would agree. It's definitely not the scripted move for the Vikings to pass on the cornerback Derek Stingley there. I feel like has been mocked there a whole lot.
Yeah,
that feels very real. But Jermaine Johnson to me is a guy who I do think has a very real chance to go. He could have gone to the Seahawks at 9. He could have gone to the Falcons at 8. Like he's in that range. He's in that conversation. I think people need to realize that. Dude's a physical freak. I mean, had some issues, school issues that brought him to Last Chance U. Then he was on that Georgia team that just had a bunch of talent, and he is more of your like he was. Trayvon Walker took his job essentially. So, and then he goes to Florida State and balls out. So there's some real value there. Just going down the line, anything you want to talk about with the top 20 here?
Desmond Ridder going at 19 would be something, but I do see a good fit there at the Saints. I do. Yeah. Saints, Steelers, I think Ridder could do well.
Quarterback could go there. Kenyon Green falling to the top. I think he'll be one of the first guards off the board. Love him. And then top 20.
We get a little flashy with 25 to 32.
Yeah, it always goes this way. We did take a lot of skill position guys, but I mean these are teams that are on the cusp of winning championships.
And that's what they target.
That's what you do. You grab the final piece, and I do believe I love the Bills pick more than anything. I really think that's a real possibility.
That's the pick that every draft mock will give an F. Yeah. Just because of the running back.
Yeah, of course. And I think from a value standpoint, yes, but from a team perspective,
how about this though? If you're willing to spend a first round pick capital, I know it's money wise is why they would do that, but a Saquon.
I wouldn't spend it. I wouldn't spend it. I would rather get Breece Hall with 4 free years, basically. You're getting 4 free years out of him, and then you have to pay for that 5th year option, and then it gets up from there.
You're right.
But that's all you need for your running back. You only get 5 years. You're only asking for 5 years from your running back. So you're getting your 4 free years for a cheap running back, and then you have Saquon, who he's been in the league for 3 years, so he's ready for a payday, and he will get paid on the name.
And done, or you pick it.
Yeah, exactly. So I would not spend a first on Saquon, which I know that's what they want. All right, I think we're good there. We're gonna close it out right there. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this mock draft, and we'll be back next week talking a little bit more football and draft talk. Peace.